The Six Swans by the Brothers Grimm, adapted for the stage by the Mudlark Public Theatre. Far away, in the land to which the swallows fly when it is winter, dwelled a good king who had 6 sons and 1 daughter named Eliza. The good queen died giving birth to the youngest son, and the king's heart was broken, never to mend. In spite of sorrow, the 6 brothers behaved like true princes, and each went to school with a star on his breast and a sword by his side. They wrote with diamond pencils on gold slates and learned their lessons so quickly and read so easily that everyone might know that they were princes. Their sister, the Princess Eliza, sat on a little stool of plate glass, studying a book full of fanciful pictures, which had cost as much as half a kingdom. Oh, these children were indeed happy, but it was not to remain so always. One day, the king was hunting in a great wood, and he hunted the wild game so eagerly that none of his courtiers could follow him. When evening came on, he stood still and looked round him, and he saw that he had quite lost himself. He sought a way out, but could find none. Then he saw an old woman with a shaking head coming towards him. She was a wicked witch.
Good woman, can you tell me the way out of the wood?
Oh, certainly, Sir King. I can quite well do that, but on one condition.
What is the condition?
I have a daughter who is so beautiful that she has not her equal in the world and is well fitted to be your wife. If you will make her your Lady Queen, I will show you the way out. Otherwise, you will never escape the wood. You will starve here, and you will die.
The king was in anguish, but, thinking of his children, he consented, and the old woman led him to her little house, where her daughter was sitting by the fire. She received the king as if she were expecting him, and he saw that she was certainly very beautiful, but she did not please him. Her smile was cold, and he could not look at her without a secret feeling of horror. As soon as he had lifted the maiden onto his horse, the old woman showed him the way out of the wood. The king reached his palace, where the wedding was hastily celebrated. The surprised children tried to be kind to their new stepmother, but she glared at them in contempt. She wanted sons of her blood to sit on the throne. The new queen took away the children's candy and apples and served them teacups full of sand. The king saw the darkness in the new queen's face, and he feared she might do the children harm, so he hid them in a lonely castle that stood in the middle of a deep wood. The castle lay so hidden, and the way to it was so hard to find, that the king himself could not have found it had not a wise woman given him a reel of thread which possessed a marvelous property. When he threw it before him, it unwound itself and showed him the way to the secret castle. The king went quite often to visit his dear children in the lonely castle in the deep wood. But he went to his children so often that the wicked queen was offended at his absence. She grew curious and wanted to know what he had to do quite alone in the wood. She bribed his closest servant and he betrayed the king's secret to her. He told her of the reel, which alone could point out the way. She had no rest now till she had fashioned 7 little white shirts. And as she had learnt from her witch mother, she sewed an enchantment into each of them. The stepmother followed the king and his magical reel and waited through his visit. When the king had ridden off, she took the little shirts and approached the lonely castle. The sons thought it was their dear father returning to them and sprang to meet him very joyfully. Then the wicked queen threw over each son a little shirt, which, when it had touched their bodies, changed them into swans. And they flew away over the forest. The queen went home ill-satisfied, for one shirt still remained. The girl, Eliza, had not run to meet the witch with her brothers. She was reading her beautiful book in a far corner of the secret castle and knew nothing of the tragedy. The next day, the king came to visit his children, but he found none but Eliza, all alone in the tower.
Where are your brothers?
Alas, dear father, they have gone away and left me all alone. I heard a great pounding of wings, and looking out my little window, I saw 6 swans flying over the forest. But I saw nothing of my brothers, only these feathers which the swans let fall in the yard.
The king mourned. Though he feared what the queen might do to the maiden, he wanted very much to bring his daughter home with him. But Eliza was afraid of her stepmother, and she begged the king to let her remain in the castle in the wood. When the king had gone, she wept on the hard floor till she was weary and nearly asleep. But when the sun had set, she heard a noise and saw 6 swans flying in at the window. They stood on the floor and blew at one another, blowing all their feathers off, and their swan skins came away like white shirts. Then the maiden recognized her brothers, and, overjoyed, she leapt to embrace them. Her brothers were delighted to see their little sister again, but their joy did not last long.
Eliza, you cannot stay here. If the stepmother finds you, she will kill you, or transform you as she did to us.
Could you not protect me?
No, for we can only lay aside our swan skins for a quarter of an hour every evening. In that time, we regain our human forms, but then we are changed into swans again.
Can you not be freed?
Oh no, you mustn't! To break the spell, the conditions are too hard. You must not speak or laugh for 6 years, and must make in that time 6 shirts for us out of star flowers. If a single word comes out of your mouth, all your labor is in vain, and we'll be swans forever.
When the brothers had said this, the quarter of an hour came to an end. They took up their skins and flew away out of the window as swans.